Arsenal Fan TV here. So, Vermaelen's had a few games recently. How do you think he's performed?
Look, I think he's performed like someone who's been out for most of the season, to be honest. I don't think you can judge him by the recent performances. It's pretty difficult for someone, especially a central defender who hasn't been playing every week, to come in and put a performance in. He hasn't made the critical errors that he's sort of been known for in the past sort of 2 years. He's not exactly back to the form of his first season with us, where he was that real sort of charismatic leader from the back. So, you know, for me, he's probably a 5 out of 10 right now.
And next season, do you think we should be trying to hold on to him?
Honestly, no. There are hungrier and better centre defenders, centre backs that we could be getting. So, yeah, I think we should sell him, move him on. He's obviously got his mind elsewhere.
He hasn't had much game time.
Do you think he should still be captain?
Nah, it's a bit weird that he's still captain, to be honest. Like, you need a captain, you need a leader on the team to show you throughout the whole match for 90 minutes. So maybe Murder-Saka for captain, as if like he plays 90 minutes every game. Or yeah, like even the midfielder. Arteta maybe. Some people bag him out, but I like him.
Would you still consider keeping Vermaelen for next season?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Mate, if game time under his belt, he'll be one of the best players. Like, when he first came on the scene, he wasn't just defending well, he was scoring goals as well. He was helping out the team, but like game time, Murder-Saka and Koscielny found a good partnership, so it becomes very tough to break the partnership down. So once chemistry builds up, you can't change it. We've conceded a few goals against the big teams lately, so maybe a change was needed. And now with Koscielny's injury, so he's got his chance now, but a couple more games under his belt, he'll be all right.
Unfortunately, he's still got that one mistake in him. The confidence must be a bit low after being demoted to the bench for most of the season and seeing how well the original centre-back pairing has done. So I think for him, I don't know if his mind's there 100%, and to be captain and sitting on the bench wouldn't sit too well with someone of his ability. So not sure how he's going to move forward or put it out for the rest of the season, but we'll see.
What do you read into the captaincy on the bench? Do you think that's a sign that Wenger's got a certain type of faith in him, or do you think it was more something else?
I don't think Wenger's had the right captain at the club for a long time now, and if you look at our captain history, they're the ones that usually sold off. Almost seemed like a bribe to keep the players on. Since Armoury, Vieira, Fabregas, Van Persie, where are those players now? They've all been sold. So I'm not sure how much Wenger actually thinks about the captaincy and what it means to the club, but the wrong type of people. We haven't had a genuine leader in there since Vieira, I think.
And I think when he put him in captain, he was in a different kind of form as well.
Correct. Yeah, he was playing, out of his skin for the last couple of games. So, he was there and thereabouts, and after that run, he hasn't done too well, has he? So that's the issue there.
And do you think he's someone we should be keeping on next season?
Only if he's going to be there 100% and commit to it. But does he want to be third choice centre back, especially when he's trying to get into that Belgian squad and play as good as he can?
So our captain's played very few games this season. Why do you think that is?
Koscielny and the big German, they've been much better than previous seasons. They've been able to hold their position. They've been able to string a series of good performances. So in football, that means you play the next game in that position. I lived in London and for a couple of years, and Tommy V was one of the best players at that time. If you go back 3-4 years ago now, he was a crowd favourite. He was the solid performer. The issue was always his side partner was always the weakness. So in saying that, he hasn't played much football, and I think professional footballers need to have confidence. So yes, he's come in to fill the gaps. Is he up to the standard that of a Koscielny has left at? Probably not. Has he got the ability to achieve that over time? Yes. Do we have that time? No. So at the end of the day, if we don't have that squad depth and be able to fill those gaps at the same skill level, it's a bit of an issue, and I think we've seen it in the last couple of weeks. The concerning thing for me is not just at the centre-back role, but also if you look at Sanya. I mean, there's been grumblings about whether he's coming or going, getting an extension on his contract, getting a signing off bonus, the injuries with Gibbs. So, when you take out the best performers in the middle, and you look at the flanks, there's issues across the board, and someone like Vermaelen, who comes in, can do the best he can, but he may not necessarily be the confidence player that we need.
And do you think that captaincy is a big thing to be looking at next season?
It's been going on for the last 5-6 years now. Arteta holding the armband, and Vermaelen being a captain of the club, and then you've got Mertesacker, who has worn it, and I think has probably been the best performer in that role. He reminds me of Tony Adams. He's able to bring people together. He's able to get in the ear of players as well. When Ozil walked off that time, he was reminding him, we're here for the fans, and to get on with the job. And I think you need that still in, especially the Arsenal team. They've been used to it. They've had very strong leaders in the past. Frank McClintock, very, very strong, got us through the worst times, and it was through his leadership and his strength that people actually worked with him to come up with the answer. So I think we probably need to make an answer on it and stick to it, but it's football. You can make someone a captain, but then their performance is that bad that they have to go on the bench, and injuries occur as well. And this shared sort of responsibility is something we probably need to review and understand. Is it the best way forward, or do we stick with someone who's a bit more upfront, in an attacking role, who's probably going to play most games and can actually keep that that vision and that spirit alive every game?
Because we're not lacking in experienced players anymore. That's one thing that's quite interesting this season. So you would think that, in most teams there's a not abundancy of captains, especially if you've got players. How many players we've got? We've got, Rosicky, we've got Flamini, a lot of these players in their 30s. So technically they're usually the candidates for captaincy, but, we're here discussing, our captain who's been on the bench whole season. So it's quite interesting.
Well, the problem there is before we had a lot of young players and everyone talked about inexperience. Now we've got a lot of older players who can't play every game. So, unfortunately, you can't pick a captain who's not going to be playing every game because you need someone who's going to be in the team every game. And, a centre-back is usually that type of position. Someone who is a striker, Giroud, and you compare Giroud to Henry, they're completely different players. But, playing in similar positions up front, Henry did that job. He led by example because he had the skill, had the belief, and people looked up to him. So again, it's horses for courses, but we do need to make a decision on who it is and how long they're going to do it for the year, and whether they have, I guess, the ear of the team, because Vermaelen doesn't have the ear of the team. And when he does come on as captain, they're probably not going to engage him as much as what they did with Mertesacker, who's had the ear of the team and has that experience at a national level as well.
He had a big injury and he had a lot of time off the pitch. And I think when he came back, he was quite good. But as any player, especially with the defenders, they need to have more game time to be able to get back to the form. And I think he took his time doing that. He did have a couple of average performances, but that wasn't his fault as a single player. It was the whole bad performance from the whole team. But I think overall, I think he's a good player. I think we should keep him, and he can provide a lot of consistency and good defending if he gets enough game time.
Do you think that his captaincy is a way of Wenger saying that he still believes in him?
Look, to be honest, I think the captaincy in the team needs to be looked at quite seriously. I think at this stage, from what I can see, there's not a lot of players on the pitch that can give you this sort of big push towards when you're losing or when the game is tough. You need someone who's more experienced, who can sort of lead the other players, especially the young players who don't have a lot of experience, to sort of be able to get them over the line. And I don't think Vermaelen may have that, but not as good as Thierry Henry or Dennis Bergkamp or all the old players that we had before. And I think that's one of the key things that we need to look at next season, is to get someone who's actually capable of playing that role and be the captain and the leader, and the other players will look at him as he's the real deal for us.